What's up everyone, it's Mark from Silence Tech. I hope you're all keeping well. Today I have this awesome PC for you to check out, featuring a Ryzen 9 5900X, a Gigabyte RTX 3080 Vision, housed inside Corsair's latest case, their 5000X. This is going to be my new editing PC for the office that I showed you in my last video. Anyway, without further ado, let's roll the intro. Okay guys, first of all let's take a look at Corsair's latest mid-tower case with an MSRP of $169.99 UK pounds and $189.99 US dollars. That's extremely well priced when you compare it to what else is available on the market. Just looking over the case briefly, I can comfortably say it's been built to a very high standard and they've put some serious effort into all of the little details in and around the case. There's a total of 4 tempered glass panels that are mounted in a way that makes system temperatures still extremely good. Corsair have learnt over the years to put plenty of room between the glass and fans. Their experience really shows. The top mounted tempered glass panel and dust filters together are a little bit overkill, but they sure look nice and it's great to have all of these options available. Another top reason why I chose this case for my own personal build is there's plenty of room to mount a 360mm radiator up top as well as the front. You can also remove the side panel completely and mount either more fans or another radiator in this case, so you would have a total of 10 120mm fans overall. The case comes included with 3 SP Elite RGBs already hooked up to the included RGB controller inside. If you buy, for instance, Corsair's iCUE H150i Elite CAPELLIX AIO liquid cooler, the fans will hook up to the case's RGB controller without any issues at all. I have top mounted my H150i CAPELLIX that was recently released by Corsair along with this case. Together they look absolutely stunning. Building inside this case was a lot of fun. Managing all of my cables was easy since it's well over an inch gap. Plus the side cooling panel can be removed altogether, allowing the full length of the case to be used purely for cables. Corsair have also included 12 extra tiebacks, so you have no excuse for an untidy build. Right, now we've checked out the case, let's take a look at the other components I picked. I went with this awesome Gigabyte RTX 3080 Vision OC10G. With a base clock of 1800MHz over the reference 1710, it will run all of the latest games at super high frame rates, even at 4K. Underneath it features Gigabyte's WindForce triple fan cooling system, and each fan has triangular edges to help pull as much heat as possible away from the PCB directly into the case. The card measures just under 34cm long. She's a hefty beast. The heatsink has been extended to allow air to pass through the top of the card, and even the backplate has vents to allow extra heat to escape. The silver is incredibly unique. Apart from the Gigabyte logo, the card doesn't have any RGB anywhere, which I actually like a lot. It matches well with a white build, but I must say the purple line running along the side will clash with any other colour you may have inside your PC. For power, the Vision RTX 3080 requires only 2 single PCIe 8 pins. I noticed when both connectors are installed, they sit quite far apart from each other, which I don't like, but I am nitpicking. Overall, the card still looks really nice. At stock speeds, the Vision boosted to 1900MHz while stress testing. Manually I managed to add an extra 150 on the core and 800 on the memory before performance gains started to taper off. The core topped out at just over 2K, and GPU temperatures never went above 75 degrees Celsius even while overclocked. Very impressive. To match the RTX 3080, I went for this Gigabyte B550 Vision D motherboard that comes with a 14-phase power design, 2 gigabit Ethernet ports and built-in Wi-Fi, priced around 240 UK pounds and 260 US dollars. The overall design does not scream gamer anywhere, even less so than the RTX 3080 Vision card. On the motherboard there's still plenty of RGB connections though, 2 addressable and 2 regular LED strip headers. You can install a total of 128GB of DDR4 running at speeds of 5400 MHz. Other features include an aluminium alloy heatsink top cover that improves heat dissipation, and there's also dual M.2 slots, one of them supporting PCIe Gen 4. Overall, this motherboard, geared towards content creation, is perfect for my needs, and personally I believe it's one of the nicest looking B550 motherboards you can buy. It's also real nice that there's a GPU available that matches it perfectly. I am using a 1300 watt power supply, which is complete overkill. Any 800 watt gold rated PSU will get the job done nicely. I have added a single 2TB Aorus PCIe M.2 for storage, and lastly I also added a single 120mm LL series fan at the rear of the case. I will probably swap out all of the fans so they all match soon, but I just wanted to check out the stock fans that came with the case for this video. Next, I want to test this Ryzen 9 5900X against my current editing CPU, the Ryzen 9 3950X. Then for gaming, I'm going to test it against my Intel i9-10900K to see if this 5900X is really as good as they say. Straight away, this 5900X started showing off with a Cinebench R20 single core result of just over 630, absolutely smashing both my 10900K and 3950X. We'll see how this translates to games in a moment. The 5900X had a worse multi-score on Cinebench R20 compared to my 3950X, since it has 4 less cores, 12 instead of 16, so I probably will stick to my 3950X for editing for the moment. My 10900K, however, got absolutely destroyed. Moving on to gaming benchmarks, I will compare the 5900X versus the 10900K, but please note Intel have an 11900K coming out soon, which promises to deliver some serious single core performance. Here are some of the latest games running at 1080p low settings to give you an idea of how much of a gap there is in performance on both CPUs. Okay, so considering that was at 1080p and both systems are CPU bound, I was expecting the 5900X to be farther ahead. Some games it was, others it wasn't. In the real world, anyone running these CPUs are more than likely going to be running at a higher resolution, like 1440p or 4K, with much higher graphical settings, causing the system to become GPU bound, resulting in frame rates that are going to be pretty much exactly the same. However, the 5900X is still extremely appealing for content creators and streamers. My personal recommendation for anyone wanting a CPU for strictly gaming, it would have to be the Ryzen 5800X. This is just complete overkill. Still, AMD are pushing the limits, what we all wanted Intel to do for years in the mainstream sector. Overall, this PC is an absolute beast, but since I'm going to be using it for editing, I'm going to stick with my 3950X. Maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to pick up a 5950X, we'll see. Gaming results are not that much of an increase over my 10900K either to make me consider switching yet. A 5 to 10 FPS difference at 1080p low settings would be instantly lost as soon as my system even becomes slightly GPU bound. Anyway everyone, I really hope you've enjoyed this video and checking out this monster Ryzen 5900X build. My name's Mark from Silence Tech. I shall see you all very soon guys. Goodbye.